Hello and welcome back. I want to try to do this as quickly as possible. I actually printed these guys out and actually going to reveal them in this way. I'm doing this to hopefully energize me just a little bit because I can't focus, I can't work. I just want to go to bed. But let's do this anyway. Um, you've seen these guys twice before. No, it's not the Spetabots. We're going to start at the top. Satylicons. I never thought I would, because originally I was going to bypass these characters. I was going to do the Spetabots, do the Demicons, just not worry about these guys. But I ended up, you saw where I was over there at the piano and I was showing off the drawings. Well, I finally finished them. I think I finished the cards. I think I like how these work. I haven't tried them yet. So let's go over this. First up is Aztryte. He's the leader. He's also has the range trait, and he's in bot mode. Now, I want to eventually get where I have the Transformer card symbol on the back of all these, kind of like, the other ones that are this big, so to speak. And so I do not have their parts to where I can build them to make the combiner unit, but I'm not worried about it. Aztryte is a ranged character. He's a 4-star bot mode. This can't flip. He has 3 to attack, only 6 health, and 2 to defense. But he does have Pierce 2. When this attacks, you may scrap a card from your hand. If you do, this gets Pierce 2 until end of turn. So even by itself, as a weak character as it is, you can get Pierce 4 off this guy before he's just KO'd. Put a fusion bore on him, and maybe the brass knuckles gets or a supercharge action card in, and get a decent swing before he's KO'd or something. So he's our, well, it just says Gunner. It's supposed to say Satylicon Gunner there because they're the Satylicons. I don't have a symbol for them. I can't add symbols. I'm not worried about it. But these are the Satylicons. So that is Aztryte. He's the leader. He's the first one. And let's put him right there. Up next, let's look at Condor. And when I made these back in 87, I had no idea Condor was the original Japanese name for Laserbeak or whoever. I really didn't know that. I'm keeping the name. He is the Satilicon Orbiter. He's sort of the Astrotrain of the group. He's able to get them space-worthy and planet to planet. The way the little story I have for them goes is that they're found stranded on a planet. And I haven't made that up yet, so that's that. Should I make him this big since I'm not making them combine? Well, I may not have his images in my computer anymore, so he may be stuck like this, which is fine. Let's take a look at him real quick. He's a 6-star, and together the Satellicons still total 19 stars. And we'll see where that goes. In alt mode, he has 0 to attack. He's a spaceship and a specialist. So you're going to see all the traits covered with these guys. This is going to be seems to be really fun. 0 to attack, 10 health, 2 defense. He does have tough 1 in alt mode. When you flip to this mode, you may draw a card from your deck. So you're going to want to get this guy, even when he's not attacking, or maybe have him attack last instead of first. There's going to be a character you're going to want to use the attack with first, and he's not up here yet. So you're going to be wanting to try to get this guy flipped back and forth with escape routes, good old rapid conversions, etc. Your deck is going to look really strange with these guys, I would bet. And I have not made a deck for these guys. So that's his alt mode. When he's in bot mode, he's melee. Originally, I think he was the leader, but I made Aztryte the leader. He's smaller. Condor's supposed to be the big guy, the kind of the brute. And so when he's in bot mode, his attack goes up to 2, his defense goes up to 3. So from 0 to 2 to 2 to 3. He does have bold 1 in this mode. This has brave for Aztryte only. So there's that. If you have all the others in play, so to speak, here, and your opponent's like, well, I'm going to go into Aztryte. Well, you can't. You're going to have to go into Condor if you're targeting Aztryte to knock him out, because Condor is going to cover Aztryte. He's not going to cover for the other two, so you can go into them instead. But, just take that into note. So if the other two guys are untapped, these two are tapped, they're going to have to go into Condor. They won't be able to attack Aztryte, who in bot mode does have one of the most defense at defensive 3, like I said. So let's look at his ability a little closer, which, yeah, this is pretty big. It's basically, I kept saying force field in all the videos I've done before this. Is it force field? Yeah, I think maybe that's right. Where, when you attack, you have the utility on, and and I pretty much got this verbatim except one little point. When this defends and takes 5 or more attack damage, instead scrap an armor equipped on this, and it only takes 4 damage. So he has a built-in force field, and I call it shield 4. Because the damage is going to have to be more than 4 for this to work. But then there's a kind of a neat thing if you noticed how I wrote this. When this defends and takes 5 or more damage, which means you still get to add up your defense with the armor card on the character. Before you realize, you have to know what your total damage is for Condor. If his total damage is 8, as long as he's wearing an armor, scrap the armor, he only gets 4. So that is the caveat here, or the rub, or the fine print, is that he's got to have an armor on here for this to work. It's not just going to be the armor card. So if you have, say, 3 extra paddings on him, all you have to do is, you're going to get all your tough 3s off the extra padding, add your defense, add your attack damage. If it's more than 5, scrap 1 extra padding. So you scrapped an armor, and he's only going to get damaged by 4. So that's something to think about. So that is Condor, and we call that shield 4. If you want to have it shield 5, shield 3 is more like, it's kind of like safeguard, but you have to scrap the equipped armor on him. If you have force field on him, it might as well not matter anymore, because it is the exact same thing. It's going to be triggered the exact same way, because when force field is triggered, you have to scrap it anyway. But this works that same way, but whatever armor is on him, you have to scrap in order to bring down the attack damage down to 4. So that's Condor. Okay, let's move on to the brothers, the twins. They're not identical, but I like calling them twins. Well, let's do Spenster first. And I must admit, I really like how these guys look with the yellow against the purple. Which and how I kind of shaded them in the computer, which I'm getting much better at. I'm not great. I'm not perfect. I'm doing just what Aztryte, just to me, is one of my favorite ones. How he looks, and he's in an action pose here. Spenster is a Satylicon gunner like Aztryte, so he has 5 stars with 4 to attack, 8 health, and 3 to defense. Of course, again, he can't flip. Oops, sorry, the Earth's moving. After this defense against an enemy, plane, spaceship, helicopter, Predacon, or ranged character, do 1 damage to the attacker. So basically, I think what I originally wrote when I drew and colored it on an actual card itself, one of the fillers and the boosters, if you remember, that he basically could attack back the attacker as long as it was an airborne trait. Well, with the MSC, I'm able to put in all those airborne traits and I added ranged. So if a ranged character is attacking him, he can get the ranged character back because he's a gunner. I thought that just seemed fitting. And since he's kind of one of the 2 feet and he can't flip, he doesn't transform, I gave them dual traits. So he's ranged and melee. In the meantime, his brother Fratellis is ranged and specialist. So while he's a little more defensive with 1 pop shot for non-attack damage, Fratellis is only a 4-star instead of a 5-star. So, here's our 9, here's our 10, here's our 19 stars. Fratellis also is very similar, except he's got 4, 8, and 2 instead of 4, 8, and 3. He's got bold 1 instead of tough 1. When this attacks and 2 blues are flipped, do 1 damage to each enemy that is untapped. So Fratellis is going to want to go first. He's a Fratelli boy that really wants to make sure he knocks off all the Goonies first, let me tell you. No, I'm just kidding. So, but I think that's where I got this name from way back when, because I was a big Goonies fan and stuff. Anyway, so there's that. Well, how are these guys going to combine? Well, I'm not doing it with an Enigma, which I came very close to making an Enigma now that I know how to make one, which was interesting in itself. Instead, I'm going to use a stratagem. And it is a star because stratagems should always cost a star. That's just me. That's how Wizards of the Coast did it. Stratagems should always cost a star because you're adding a power to the game. You're making something stronger. You're having some sort of action, be able to do something to put you at an advantage. And thus being able to combine into Prytron instead of using Enigma cards, which is what a lot of people are doing now. So I've made this kind of a revenge thing, and originally I was going to have it where here we go, the pyramid of Decepticons, where when at least 2 of them are KO'd, then you can combine. But I wanted to do a little more than that. So I've been playing around with this for quite a while. And let's have these guys over here for the heck of it. There we go. So when at least 2 Satylicons have been KO'd, you may combine them into Prytron, the mobile Decepticon satellite. If you do, put all your utility upgrades from your hand upside down under Prytron. Then flip over this card. Which I think, and this actually looks better than this. This is a little jagged, and I don't know why it turned out. I mean, I have an idea why it turned out that way. I might be able to redo it. And since this has a star, their total cost is 20. So you're going to see 20 on Prytron itself. And since it is going up a star, their total health here really is 32. Instead of utilizing repair when combined or anything crazy like that, I just gave it 34 health. So whatever damage you have over here, you're going to gain 2 more health on the combine. It's a little, might be about standard, maybe a little strong at 6 attack, but only 1 defense, which is kind of standard. But he's got bold 2 and pierce 2 for the mobile Decepticon satellite unit here. It is a Titan. It is specialist, and it's ranged. So again, I kind of went with the using dual traits here, ranged and melee, ranged and specialist, and we have ranged and specialist for Prytron. So being able to get Condor flipped, but to be able to get cards in your hand, you might want to have some brainstorms mixed with those escape routes and rapid conversions with some field communicators and maybe some of those other specialist cards that allows you to play upgrades and actions now that the game is pretty much all casual for the most part. I think this is going to be a really neat and really fun combiner. I will admit he does kind of work a bit in a glass cannon-ish sort of way because these guys are over here are not that well strong. I didn't make them that strong. And it is only a 19-star character, or 20-star character. We're not talking Metroplex or even Triptychon or, heaven forbid, Fort Max, who just seems, if you with the right deck, I mean, you're just going to kill the opposition. So with Prytron here, so when this combines, do damage to an... okay. Let's get back to the stratagem super quick. I got to hurry this up. I'm getting my energy back a little bit. You may combine them into Prytron, the mobile Decepticon satellite. If you do, you put all your utility upgrades from your hand upside down under Prytron, then flip over this card. So that's the point. You're going to want to use some cards to be able to get some draw power. Flipping the one character you can flip back and forth for draw power. You're going to want some utilities in your deck to be able to get your utilities in your hand. So when two are knocked out and you do combine into Prytron, then you're going to have to give up your utilities, kind of like Skytread. You're not giving up your whole hand. You're only giving up stacking up utilities underneath him. So imagine, and originally I had, if you can see over here, they all have these little balls on stems poking all around them. Well, originally I had them like this too on the big guy, on the satellite unit. You can still see sound wave on the inside again. I put a little sound wave at the con on the inside of Prytron. And yeah, this was supposed to be green. I'll try to maybe give you a visual of what I originally drew over here years ago. But so it's going to be like charging up these things to get a strong or a cheap hit right when they combine. So if you've got 3 or 4 utilities under Prytron when you combine, well, guess what? When this combines, do damage to an untapped enemy for each utility upgrade under this. You've got 3 under here, you can get 3 non-attack to that Optimus Prime or to that Fort Max or whatever you're attacking. So that's the beauty of it. But where are they going to go? They're stuck under there. They're not going to come back out. And you can't use them again. It's only for sort of gearing up to make a one big non-attack push when it combines. When I think that's pretty neat, and I think that's pretty big. And it might be a challenge to do so. I don't know. So then when this battles, it gets +1 to attack or +1 to defense for each utility upgrade flipped for battle. So I think that's going to help. Of course, it's does not stack or anything crazy like that. So if I need to squish in here until end of turn, I can, and that's not a big deal upgrading that online. But what do y'all think? I think this is going to work. That he may not be very strong. These guys aren't strong characters, but when they combine, they're going to have a nice singular blast at one enemy. You do 1 damage to an untapped enemy. That's the trick. That is the trick. This isn't going to happen unless they have someone untapped. If they don't have anyone untapped, this is not going to work when it combines. Then you're not going to be able to go, oh, I got 5 utilities on here. Oh, you don't have anybody untapped. Well, Darn, that didn't work. So, but still, you know, flipping upgrades is going to add to your attack and defense each time you battle, plus the 6 attack. I think that's going to be pretty big. Plus, you're going to be able to have a 5-star character to fight alongside it if you want to. Or you can really pile up some bolts of lightning with maybe some other 2-star cards in the deck, along with your utilities. Your something to be able to flip Condor back and forth, and maybe a little draw power, etc., along with maybe some other, definitely not just utilities, but some strong weapons, and maybe at least 3 extra paddings to be able to pull off, keep Condor alive for an extra turn or 2, etc. I think it's going to be fun. I think it's going to be a challenge, and I hope it is, because I can foresee them losing a lot of battles until you get the hang of how this is going to work. I really didn't think I'd be able to print these guys out and do a video like this, and I'm glad I did. I think it's going to be fun. It's not like any combiner we've ever seen, and it was from the mind of myself from when I was like 14 years old. Well, maybe 15, 14, somewhere around there. However old I was in 1987, when season 3 was still new and the movie had just fizzled in theaters, and then we all grew to love it. So there's that. This is the Satylicons. We got Aztryte, Condor, Spenster, Fratellis, and their combined mobile Decepticon satellite Prytron. How do you like it? Let me know. Tell me your comments. What you think about this, if you think it'll work, if there's something that might need adjustment, or anything else. Everything is appreciated. Everything is really appreciated, guys, because we're all in this together, trying to keep the game alive. And where we go from here is we may need new, fresh characters like this to use our imagination to delve into the lore of the Transformers, make up some new stuff up, or we wouldn't have characters today like Impactor. I still don't know who Impactor is. I think he was from the old UK comics from the 80s, I guess. Yeah, I think he was. So, I mean, we got all sorts of new characters. Windblade is still new to me. So I think there's a lot more we can do with Transformers than what's already established, that we could add to Rescue Bots, Rid, Robots in Disguise, Transformers Prime, Beast Wars. I mean, there were tons of Beast War figures that never made it into the show that they're doing them with the comics that we could add to the game. Now, my Beast War characters, what did I do? I stuck with the characters from the show, did screenshots off the show, and made those. I didn't do Transmutate. Someone did a pretty cool looking Transmutate, though. So there is room for new characters. There is room for growth. If we want to make that 13th Optimus Prime and that 26th the new Megatron, we can do that too. Wizards was making an Optimus and Megatron with every wave anyway. We need some more Galvatrons. We could use some more variety with Cyclonus and Scourge, etc. More Reflectors. More clones, more Dinobots. There is more female Autobots, female Decepticons. This is a big universe, and we can just make it our own when it comes to the game and make it work. I think we can do it. Thanks for following. Thanks for being on the ride. Let's keep the game moving forward. And as always, throw scraplets at that bell. Hit that like button if you like this video. We'll see you next time. And as always, Autobots, flip out and let's roll.